Do I just like get into it?
Yeah, I guess you doing a little intro.
Yeah. Maybe this should be the intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first show of Hi Kerwin. We have a very special, important announcement to make. This is our pilot episode, and to make this an announcement on the pilot episode, I think is really important. That we've actually changed the name of the program, of the show, from Hi Kerwin to Hey Kerwin, for a very important reason. Hi Kerwin could very much be misconstrued for hiker win. And I've already been tweeted maybe 4 times by people asking me if I won the hiking tournament. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be best if we, I know a lot of work went into this. So it's now Hey Kerwin. Welcome to Hey Kerwin, where you get to ask the questions and I get to answer them.
Aaron Edwards asks, "Hey Kerwin, why do I believe the bullshit in my head?"
If you tell someone something enough, they're going to believe it. And in our brains work on loops, especially with the stories that we tell ourselves. And you know, the stories that you're telling yourself now are more than likely just products of stories that you inherited from your environment, from people around you, from your interpretations of how things went down. And you know, the reason that you buy the stories, the bullshit stories in your head, is if you listen to something for long enough, it ultimately becomes a truth. And I think you know, there's a lot to be said for developing a level of self-awareness that, first of all, not only allows you to hear this, because it's important that you hear the bullshit that's going on in your head, but the second thing is you need to be able to interrupt that bullshit that's going on in your head and actually be able to, you know, suggest and actually reprogram and play different words, you know, in the orchestra of language that you can use to create a different tune and a different note and different music. Wow, what a great music metaphor. That was fantastic. So look, I think when you look at any story in the head, you know, it's a form of code. If it's a bad story, it's a virus. If it's a good code, you know, then it's going to be, you know, related to high performance. So my advice is just start becoming aware of when the virus is in place. Sounds like you are. And just replace it with a different piece of code, different story, different affirmation, different statement. Because words, you know, words have power. And, you know, thoughts make things, so choose the good ones.
Aaron also says, "See you in February."
See you in February, Aaron. Bring hot chocolate. I never drink hot chocolate. This is highly unusual.
Alium C Video on Instagram says, "Hey Kerwin, how do you maintain business focus when unexpected personal situations happen?"
Great question. Well, I think it's, for me, you know, it's not about a balance. It's about sharing the space between business and personal life. And for me, it's knowing what your priorities are, like family first. Like, so for, you know, in any situation where, you know, a family value or a family member, and a family member could be a team member, is compromised. You've got to know how to prioritize. And I think that's where values come in, and knowing who you are. And the more you know who you are and the more you know what your drivers are, the easier it is for you to prioritize when things are tough. And you know what, it's interesting, because this is probably one of the biggest challenges I think a lot of people have, is when shit hits the fan, how do they prioritize? Like, how do you prioritize when the world is falling down? And the way that you prioritize when the world is falling down is by loads of preparation. You know, if you look at special forces, if you look at Navy SEALs, if you look at, you know, any agency that has, you know, high levels of discipline, they practice and practice and practice and practice and practice, and they train and train and train and train and train at such a high level that when they're actually executing in the real world, that you know, if something goes wrong, it's as if they're in their training. It's not like they haven't practiced this 5,000 times before. So I think you know, there's enormous discipline in being able to train and prepare. And when you train and prepare, and then the shit hits the fan, it's so much easier to maintain focus than if you don't train and you don't prepare and the shit hits the fan. God help you. What hope do you have? And this is coming from someone who didn't used to plan, but now I plan like a Navy SEAL.
So Capture Content asks, "Hey Kerwin, how do I get out there and gain clients that are willing to take risks and who are environmentally responsible?"
It's almost like that's a very interesting question. How do I get good clients that are willing to take risks? You don't. You don't. You find good clients that are looking for solutions that you can actually provide based on the problems that they have, that have impacts that are significant enough in areas of importance and also areas of finance that warrant the investment in what it is that you do. You know, I think our job as professional salespeople is to reduce the risk, in most cases to mitigate it or remove it completely. And the way that we do that is through communication and our helping, you know, especially from a sales perspective, we need to first of all identify what the biggest issues are that the people have that we're trying to help. We then need to prioritize those issues. We need to then uncover how true those issues are based on real evidence, and then really look at the impact. And by impact, we're looking at not just motivation, we're looking at, you know, financial impact, emotional, mental health, you know, those sorts of impacts. And you know, those are the areas of really inherent risk. And our job is to really, as professional salespeople, is to remove that risk by giving them, the protection of an upside, which is ideally a solution that can give them what it is that we want. And a great salesperson should never sell something to someone and go, oh, I really hope this works. And this is the process that we teach specifically. A salesperson, if they do their job well, should be able to get to the end of the salesperson and know with 100% accuracy, beyond a shadow of a doubt, whether or not they can help that person or not. So there really should be almost no risk involved. So interesting question, but yeah, went somewhere good.
Swisstech Engineering. Hey Kerwin, when employing in small business, should you look for staff or talent first?
So for those of you who don't know, because again, I have a bit of a philosophy around this, so it's probably going to be helpful if I help frame this for the rest of the world. I want to keep our spotted mug in here for some kind of a prop. Just for definitions of term, staff are typically those people that get paid to do a job, and talent are the few people who in this world who genuinely love what it is that they do so much that they went and pursued it as a career. Staff are the people that will show up a few minutes before work, and they'll take extra time for their breaks, and they'll pack up early before they have to go. And talent in many cases will be the ones that show up early and stay back late. And that's not a prerequisite, by the way, because I know I posted a video about that, and a few people got their knickers in or not. But staff by nature, by virtue, are getting paid to do a job that they don't necessarily love, and they don't go above and beyond. Talent, on the other hand, are people that are passionate about what it is that they pursue and what they're doing, and the fact that they get paid and can get paid well is, for some of them can be even, surprising. So whenever you're considering working with any type of human being, you've really got to understand, what type of person am I looking to work with? Whether it be, a business partner or a talent member, team member, or anyone where we're going to be collaborating with it for any given period of time, but especially in business, we want to be working with people that ideally have a level of talent and are willing to go above and beyond, and they have a level of expertise in what it is that they do that will, complement what it is that you have. So I don't think there's any appropriate situation where you should work with staff. I think staff will have their place in society, especially as automation starts to take over and robots need servicing, and oiling. I actually think there's going to be a massive innovation in the recruitment market where we start seeing this huge emphasis and a refocusing on how we recruit based on the talents of individuals, not just the jobs that they want to do necessarily. We'll see.
Adam Drake, he says, hey Kerwin, I'm in the midst of starting my second business in the building game. I intend to build high energy efficient homes.
Nice.
What would be your number one tip for reaching my target market?
Well, I'd start producing, what was his name? Adam, the first thing I'd start doing is producing content that would be of interest to your market. The beautiful thing about Facebook is that there are very large communities of environmentally friendly, even environmentally aggressive people on Facebook. And the beautiful thing about environment is it's very topical right now, especially with with what's going on with elections and so forth. And I think whenever you can produce content that is of an informative, educational, and useful nature, people are going to want to not only consume it, but ultimately also want to share it and communicate it as well. So I think the response that I'd give to you, Adam, is the same response I'd give to any business, whether you're a builder, bike maker or candlestick maker. Ultimately, you want to start producing content that is a utility in nature, that is helpful in nature, that people can effortlessly consume without feeling like they're having something done to them, without feeling like they're being marketed to. Because when we understand this little concept called the mere exposure effect, which drives this huge framework of influence and automatic behaviors or automatic response patterns in from a social perspective, the more exposures that a particular brand or an individual gets to a brand or a service or a product or a business, the higher likelihood of them building and having trust triggered and building a level of trust which enables or even promotes an engagement, which would be a sales conversation. Yeah, just create content, lots of it, specifically relating to what it is that you do that is utility in nature, whereby it helps people. But it just can be very helpful. I think that's ultimately the name of the game. I've just noticed it took me the entire time to drink my hot chocolate to do Hey Kerwin. So I'm going to drink hot chocolate at least once a week. But guys, we need your questions. All of your questions, please send them in. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, hashtag Hey Kerwin, not Hi Kerwin. We don't want to be getting the hikers up in arms. We know they're a bit of a sensitive bunch. Hey Kerwin, tell me what your question. And I want to create some kind of engagement, but obviously we're following in the footsteps of the giants before us, and I'd like to do it at work. So I'm going to ask you guys a question of the day, and the question of the day is, what do you think is the current state of social media in the world today as it applies to business? Let me know what you think of that one. And hopefully you enjoyed Hey Kerwin. Sorry about Hi Kerwin. He had to go. Till next time. took us 6 months. We did it.